wheatgrass juice. Afterwards, I felt a little queasy, so I clipped on my safety rope and made the steep ascent back to my hotel. My show was at Davies Symphony Hall, a perfect place for comedy, because symphonies are always so damn funny. I came prepared. In case the crowd demanded a tune, I brought my auto harp on stage with me. March 30th, Majestic Theater, Dallas, Texas. It's my last night in the Lone Star State. You know what they say about Texas is true. Everything is bigger. The food portions, the hats, the bed linen thread counts. Remember that TV show, Walker, Texas Ranger? That was huge. I rest my case. Okay, here's more proof that everything's bigger in Texas. You know those teeny tiny miniature shampoo bottles you get in hotels? In Texas, they come in 5-gallon jugs, which makes stealing them a logistical nightmare. April 2nd, Dodge Theater, Phoenix, Arizona. Each night at the end of the show, I've been doing a little Q&A section with the audience. It's fun, and since I've been talking nonstop, it's nice to give somebody else a chance. The questions range from people wanting to know what's the status of my latest projects to asking me to define the molecular structure of certain kinds of cheese. Not all the questions are ones that I can answer, but I always try. April 4th through 6th, Wiltern Theater, Los Angeles. The Wiltern Theater is incredibly beautiful. It was originally called the Historic Wiltern when it was built in 1931. Now it's just called the Wiltern Theater, without the historic. Why would they have called a building that was just built historic anyway? Would you call a brand new restaurant Ye Old TGI Fridays? I think not. April 10th, Palace Theater, Columbus, Ohio. Had a splendid show at the Palace Theater and then back to my hotel room to get some rest. I'm getting so used to living in hotels now. They're like a second home to me. I'm trying to organize a block party on my floor, but so far nobody's responded to my flyer. April 15th, Tower Theater, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Do you know how long it's been since I've had a home-cooked meal? When you're on the road, you eat every meal out. Every one. All I want to do is make myself a tuna melt and eat it standing up in my kitchen. I almost never order room service when I'm touring because it's hard to justify eating a $10 boiled egg. April 20th, Symphony Hall, Atlanta, Georgia. It's so nice to be back in the South, back on familiar turf. Atlanta is one of the friendliest towns around. Everything is yes ma'am and no ma'am. My favorite is y'all, which I still use. It's such an economical way to talk. Y'all going? It's so much easier than saying, are you presently considering departing? Went to a Krispy Kreme Donuts. Woman behind the counter was amazingly pleasant. In L.A., if you go into a store, it's never like that. At the end of a purchase, you say, thank you for letting me shop in your store, to which the shop person usually replies with a shrug, whatever. It's good to be home. April 26th, Massey Hall, Toronto, Ontario. Well, back on the plane again. Being in a different city every night is kind of wearing. So much packing and unpacking. By the time I put everything away, it's time to pack up and go. I do make sure to keep each room I stay in neat and tidy. The whole trashing thing isn't really my style. I like to leave a little something behind instead to make the room just a little bit nicer. Sometimes I leave a houseplant, or as I did in my hotel room in Toronto, I repainted the bathroom. I chose a charming French blue, which I then ragged over with a vibrant sunburst yellow. I sure hope the hotel management appreciates it. April 27th, Benedum Center, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been on the road now for almost 2 full months, and today I finally got around to writing some postcards. Now if I just had the time to get stamps, maybe I'll get them when I'm back in Los Angeles. I wanted to see the Andy Warhol Museum. He was born in Pittsburgh, but I didn't have time, so I just popped into a local supermarket and contemplated the Campbell's Soup section. It was the best I could do. April 28th, State Theater, New Brunswick, New Jersey. The show was sold out. What a great night. Next stop is New York City to tape my HBO special at the Beacon Theater. The next time I write, I'll be in New York City, the city that never sleeps. I'm a tiny bit concerned because I don't want my audience to be sleepy. I need them to be alert and on the top of their game. I hope New York takes a nap before my show. May 1st and 2nd, Beacon Theater, New York, New York. Just finished taping the show for HBO at the Beacon Theater. Before the show, I had a meeting with the director from HBO. The man has incredible insight into his craft. When I asked him what's my motivation, he thought for a moment, then responded simply, but with great conviction, be funny. Let me tell you, those are 2 powerfully inspiring words. Well, actually, his complete answer was, look, I don't have time for this. It's a stand-up show, right? Just Be funny, for God's sake. But I knew what he meant. May 5th, 2003. I'm finally home. The tour is over and the HBO show is in the can. It's hard to adjust to being in my own house after living in hotel rooms for so long. When I dial 0 on my phone to tell the front desk that I need more towels, they hang up on me. It's weird. Anyway, I don't think I'm going on tour again for a long, long time. Not unless I can beam myself into the various destinations. When some sort of transporter device has been invented, tested, and sold to the public, I'll go on tour again. I'm thinking maybe early spring 2086. A scientific treatise regarding a matter of great entomological concern to all of us. What is it with bees? It's just an expression. The other day I had an epiphany while eating a bag of potato chips. The bag was so full of air I had to burst it like a balloon to get it open, and inside were only 5 or 6 measly freeze-dried spud slivers. It got me thinking how people fill conversations with trite expressions and phrases, creating the illusion they've said something significant, just like a deceptively puffed-up bag of chips. Well, not really. What actually occurred to me was that snack food is a huge rip-off, but that's beside the point. My point is, and I do have one, which, by the way, was the name of my last book. If you haven't read it, you really should, but please finish this one first, is that we no longer say what we mean, or mean what we say. Do we honestly think that interjecting, "every dog has his day," or starting sentences with, "is that so," contributes to the conversation? No, all it does is prolong the meeting, party, or intervention, cutting into the time that could be better spent at home zoning out in front of the television. Take this overused phrase. Honesty's the best policy. Is it? Honesty's good, yes, but not always. Up to a certain point you should be honest, but just imagine if we were honest all the time. The world would be terrible. It would be a cold, cruel place. Gosh, Sarah, have you gained a lot of weight or what? You're so puffy. Boy, oh boy, that breath of yours is something else. I'm about to pass out. Seriously, that has to be the worst breath ever. Has your ass always been that flat, or am I...